Well, it's been about a week since I finished the trip around Salt Spring, and on that trip I was doing a fair bit of sailing, and I noticed that two of my winches were starting to not function properly. And servicing the winches is something that I did fairly regular on our last boat. Yeah, like once you start doing it, it's quite an easy process, and you kind of get into a rhythm of annual maintenance. Of course, servicing the winches on this boat is something that I've had on my list of things to do in the last 5 years of owning it. But if it's working, you kind of gets lower down on the list and functioning well and not causing a problem, then it just stayed at the bottom of the list. So this last trip, two of my winches started acting up and just not ratcheting properly. And those are the two winches for the stay sail. And so not a huge deal because they don't take on a massive load compared to the head sail, the large Yankee. But yeah, so I thought, well, now I'm back at the marina and I might as well at least get those two serviced and start working my way through all of them. Now, on our last boat, they were a Variant. All of our winches were Variant, so I was quite familiar with them after servicing them regularly for so many years. The winches on this boat are Barlow, and I imagine they're going to be similar to the disassembly and reassembly and servicing as the other winches once I get them opened up. But yeah, there might be some small differences. So I'm going to start with the two winches for the stay sail, and then over the next few weeks I'll just pick away and get all the other winches done. There's a variety of winches, some very large ones for the head sail, and I'll probably do those last. There's some 2-speed winches, some 1-speed winches, large, small, all lots, 2 masts. So I'll start with getting the 2 stay sail winches done, and then we'll see what happens from there. So I'm standing just forward of the helm, and you can see there's a winch way over there. That's one of the winches for the stay sail. The next winch is for the main sheet. The winch here on the mizzen mast, this one is for the main sheet for the mizzen mast or mizzen sail. This winch is for the halyard to raise the mizzen. And then our last winch in the cockpit area, this is excluding the 2 large winches for the head sail, but here's the other smaller winch for the stay sail. If I spin around, we've got our 2, I've got the covers on right now, but our 2 large winches, there's one on port and then one on starboard, obviously. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 winches just in the cockpit. Here's a little closer look at the port side stay sail winch. So it's Barlow. It says Australia on it, and it's a number 23. If we go over to the main sheet winch, it's a Barlow, and it's a 25. This is a 2-speed winch. I think this is a single speed, but I'll double check. We'll find out when we fix it. And these are self-tailing. These 3 winches are all self-tailing. The one way over there. And I'll step outside and I'll show you guys one of our large main sheet or sheet winches. But just before I leave the cockpit, I'll show you the 2 winches on the mizzen mast. They are not self-tailing. but they're Barlow number 16, so smaller again, and another Barlow 16. So far everything's Barlow, various sizes, and these are not self-tailing, and I believe this is a 2-speed and the other one isn't. Again, I'll have to double check. Or maybe they're both single speeds. You kind of just forget in the moment you're just using them, and then you just don't think about those things. So here's a look at that winch for the sheets for the head sail, and it is a fairly large winch. Another Barlow, and I think the number on there says 32. Self-tailing, 2-speed, definitely on this one. Well, I'm not sure if you noticed on the top of some of those winches, there's like a little circular disc with 2 holes on opposite sides, and that's usually the first step for taking the winch apart. And so years ago I didn't have a tool for it, so I just made up this little metal piece with adjustable set screw on it with a nut, and then I could just place it in there and start turning the that disc to loosen it off and remove it. When we bought this boat, this little tool came with the boat, and it's the same thing. It's adjustable, and but it's got 2 different sized pegs, or like little sets on it. So the top ones are larger. You can use those for the water caps and deck fills, and then they're too large for the winches, but on the other side they have smaller pegs, and these work perfectly for removing those discs off the top of the winches. So I'll keep this old one as a backup. And it works. It's this little one little bolt got a little bent after years of use, but this guy will be good and strong, and I'll show you how I do the first step of removing the disc. And just before I pull this apart, we'll just do a little test. And you can, it's actually winching now, but there's no ratcheting, there's no clicking, it's pretty gummed up inside. So I will give that a good clean. So I'm not sure if the camera can see the disc there, but there's the 2 holes, and winch handle goes right in the center. Here's your feeder for the self-tailing. You don't need to remove that, and you just pop that in there, and we'll see if we can give it a bit of a, oh, there it came loose actually quite easily. And you just thread it nicely and just pop it off. There we go. That's the first thing to remove. Another thing to consider when you're working on these winches is that any little pieces that come out, when they hit gel coat, they will bounce, it seems like, at an energized rate. So usually what I like to do is lay down a towel, which I already have but hadn't got out yet, and I just put this as a spot to catch anything that might come off, but it looks like this will just pop right off. So there we go. There's the inside. I'm not sure if the camera's got that in view, but, and here's our gears down here. These are the pawls. Oh yeah, you can see they just stick right in, so they're definitely dirty. Here's just one more look at that. I don't think the camera was quite set up right. And so here's the lower gear. Here's the bearings, 2 sets of bearings. This is a pawl. That's a pawl. They should spring out, but they're not springing out very well. The other side didn't spring out at all. And that's gonna prevent it from allowing it to ratchet. So they just get gummed up, and the grease gets gummed up over the years. So I'll degrease all the bearings. I need an Allen key for these. I think there's 4 locations. Yeah, one on the other side. Pop those off, and then I can get this bottom gear out, clean it up properly, and this will be a pretty quick and easy fix. Okay, the next step is to get these bearings off. Just adjust the camera a little. There we go. And they'll just slide right off the top. There's 2 sets here, so don't drop them. I've got a little bucket over here. And I've already loosened off these little Allen set bolts, or screws, bolts. Take each one out. Everything's gonna get cleaned. Now, I'm assuming this should just lift, but I don't know for sure. Yep, there we go. That whole assembly comes off. Here's the gear. That'll need some serious cleaning. And the rest, oh, this comes off too. There we go. A little different than my other winches, so that just stays in there. So take that off too, and then start cleaning up the stuff. So here is the winch all apart. Got the cap, that twist cap disc that I started with. Took the drum off, took the bearings off. Those are the little 4 set screws. The main housing, that's the sort of the centerpiece, and that bottom gear. And the pawls, you can see, are right here. That one's still going in and out, but this one, you can see it's actually stuck in the in position, so it needs to be all cleaned up and freed up. So there'll be a little spring on the other side. Hopefully that spring is in there, and that's not the issue, but we'll give it a try here and clean it up and see what happens. And at this point, I mainly focus on cleaning up the bearings and the gears, greasing the gears appropriately. You don't want to put grease on the balls because that gums them up. So I just use machine oil on those. But we're going to put the appropriate amount of grease once we've cleaned all these things up. And then, yeah, try to free that one pawl up. And then it's time to reassemble and test. So this took me, I mean, if I wasn't filming, this would have taken me maybe 5 minutes or less to pull apart. And then the cleaning is the next step, which will take a little longer. I just use a degreaser. You can use diesel fuel or any other type of degreaser out there is pretty good. I may end up just cleaning up the bearings first, and I'll move this stuff into the larger container, so I'm not making too much mess here. well, everything's clean. It turned out there were a few more parts that came out of different pieces. And if you have never done this before, it's a good idea to take photos along the way if you're not sure, or document it by video, and then you won't lose track of what piece goes where. And now I'm going to grease. I grease the gears. So there's gears here, there's gears under here, or cogs. There's some cogs on this right here. So I'm gonna let that dry up completely, and then I'll grease it. Again, be careful not to get grease on the pawls. Here's a better look at this little piece here, shows them. I put machine oil there on those so they don't get gummed up. Very light coating of grease on the bearings, and I just do that as I reassemble. And the type of grease I use, it is a winch grease. It's for Lumar. Still only one I could find, but I'm sure they're all pretty standardized. I also put a little bit of grease on anything that's threaded, like these little set screws, just so that there's no issues with those when I want to take them out later. Hear that ratcheting now, and you can hear it ratcheting on the load. First obstacle.
First obstacle. Check.
Oh. Wow. This is all.
This is last Tuesday?
Well, no, I didn't come to shore last Tuesday. But when I was here most recently, looks like this tree has come down. See it up there? Yeah. This is all new since last time I walked here.
I guess the goal is to not lose your boots.
Yeah. Well, we made it to the truck. A lot of photos of this truck.
Yeah, it's like an old friend.
Yeah. anchored right about here. We walked along this trail. This is where the truck is. And then we walked down to the cabin that had all the name plaques on it. That's right here, right by the outhouses. That's where the other dock is. Then we doubled back, and then we've been walking all the way up. That's where that sign was we just saw a short time ago, and we're here. This is the private property on the island, the only remaining private property. The rest of the island is all BC Parks. You made it.
Were you in doubt?
Never.
Oh, very cool. Like, fully. It's an oyster in there.
It's all sandstone.
Stone. That's fun.
It's carved right out.
Yeah. So smooth.
Yeah. A lot of sandstone in this area.
Yeah.
And it has all these really interesting formations.
Lots of snails and barnacles.
Yeah. It almost looks alien, doesn't it?
Oh, I bet you can get to that little sandstony spot.
Oh, probably. Well, we have made it back to the boat. And how was the walk?
It was great.
Yeah. How far did we go?
Almost 9 kilometers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We figure about 9 kilometers. The GPS tracked 8.7, but it kicked in a
Once
little
we were
ways.
almost at like the bottom of the bay.
Yeah, so that was at least 300 meters. So
That was great.
a good day, and then it started to rain just as we got to the boat. Yeah, so we're gonna stay in for the rest of the night, and hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing a little bit of Wallace, seeing Devlin.
In the
Everyone
spring.
likes seeing Devlin on the show.
Everything's green right now.
Yeah, it's a nice time of year to be out. We're just here with one boat now, one left, and we were gonna tuck up a little further because it's supposed to blow southeast, but we're in far enough. We decided just to stay here, and we will
Go home in the rain tomorrow.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a blustery southeast tomorrow, so we'll see if we can make it home before it gets too gross out. But just a quick trip to Princess Cove.